Hello, everyone, and welcome to this online series called Architecting Angular. It's a informal series that shows you the basics of getting set up with Angular 6. There'll be some more advanced videos later on that'll go into more detail, but for now, if you're a beginner, this might be perfect for you. So, to get started, we're going to have to install some dependencies on our computer. I'm using Windows. If you're using a Mac or Linux, and some of the steps will be similar, but there might be some problem solving required. So the first thing you're going to need to do is install Node.js on your computer. I'm on Windows. You might be on a different operating system. It's up to you. But have a look through them, install it, and Node.js should be available by the command line on your computer. You can see here I've got Node version 8.11.3 installed. I've also got a utility called npm, which is the Node Package Manager. This allows us to install Node.js packages from the online registry. So I'm making this video on the 23rd of June 2018. These are the versions that are available at that time. So when it comes to developing with Angular, you're going to need a couple of different tools. One of those tools is an integrated development environment. Now there's lots of options out there. Personally, I use WebStorm from IntelliJ, and this is a premium tool. However, they do offer a 30-day trial, which you can take advantage of and see for yourself if it's right for you. Another option is Visual Studio Code. The programming language that is used in Angular version 6 and 2 and above is TypeScript. Now, TypeScript is supported by Windows and has been developed by Microsoft. So out of the box, Visual Studio gives you everything you need. Another option is TypeScript support by default. Another one is Sublime Text, which has a lot of multi-select magic mumbo jumbo, which allows you to perform advanced grep commands through all your files and do whatever you want. So yeah, have a look out there, see what's right for you. You might already be using another IDE. There's plenty of other choices, but those are the ones I've seen people use. In my day-to-day job, it seems like Visual Studio Code is the one that people really do like and enjoy. I suppose the only reason I'm using WebStorm is because it's what I'm familiar with and what I'm comfortable with. So, download Node.js, find a IDE which you feel comfortable with. If this is your first time programming, you're going to have to do some more research. But if you're already used to coding yourself, then some of this might seem intuitive. Once you have Node.js installed, you're going to have to install the Angular CLI tool. See here, I'm using npm to install globally on my system the Angular CLI tool. So this is just going out to the web and fetching all of the different dependencies we need for this project. And that's it. Of course, I already had the Angular CLI tool installed, but went out and updated my package. Now, out of the box, the Angular CLI tool gives you a lot of different options, but the one we're going to use now is the one that allows us to create a brand new project. You can see here in the terminal, I'm on my desktop. I'm going to create a new blank project called blank. So it's generating all of the files I need to get a empty project with a out of the box solution, very minimal, but it's all we need to get started with a project. It also goes out and installs all the dependencies we need for our new project too. You might see errors like this while it's being installed. These are just warnings. They're not fatal errors. I'm going to open up WebStorm. So desktop. See here, it's generated all these different source files. What we're interested right now in is the package.json file. So this is used by Node.js and our Node Package Manager to manage all of the dependencies and scripts for our project. So you can see here in dependencies and dev dependencies, we've got all the different names of our npm versions that are pulled down. So if we go to npm.js.org, any of these packages are available. Have a look at this one here, Angular Compiler CLI. It's quite a popular repository. So our npm command line tool will allow us to run any of these scripts. And out of the box, we get some default scripts. We can add some custom ones here if we want, but they all tie into the Angular CLI tool, which is called the NG for shorthand Angular CLI tool. Type NG. We can see the list of available commands for the Angular CLI tool. We've already used the new command to create this new empty project. There's a whole bunch of other ones as well. So the add allows us to add to our projects, like, for example, jQuery or Google's material design, Angular material design. The generate command, which we'll show you later on, allows us to generate very common components and, I suppose, modules for our application. Definitely not using the right word there, but common design patterns which are used in the Angular framework can be generated using this command. It saves a lot of time when it comes to just architecting your application the right way, putting files in the right places. Here we've got an update command, which will go out and find the most up-to-date version of all the packages that you need. It'll also check whether or not those packages are compatible with each other. The build will go through all of our source files and build a directory with static front-end assets, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, not TypeScript. So most web applications that you see on the internet today will use static assets. They'll use those HTML files, CSS files, JavaScript files. Angular and the Angular with TypeScript allows us to build our application in a more modern and standardized way. Have that compiled into JavaScript that works with the browser. So in order to do that, we need to run the build tool and command and generate those static assets. Just to show you how that works, we'll type npm run build, and when we run this command, node package manager will go in here, it'll look for our scripts, npm run start. Apologies, build. Will run build. Now there's different types of builds that we can run. We'll get into that later. One of those build types is the production build. So there's further tasks it'll go through to make sure that our build is ready to be deployed onto a production server. There we go, the build has finished, and a new folder is being created in our project. So you can see there are no TypeScript files in here, just JavaScript files. And there are much fewer files too. Let's take a look at the vendor.js file. Oh, apologies, that's the maps file. So you might see these .map files. These are called source maps, and they allow your browser to be able to unminify and understand what a minified file looks like, what the original file looks like, when you're viewing it in the DevTools. If you haven't used the DevTools in your browser, don't worry, we'll get to that later as well. Back to our Angular CLI tool. Serve. This will build and run our app on a local port, on local host. Let's give it a try. So again, npm run serve. We'll get a script from our package.json file. In this case, it's going to use the Angular CLI tool. There isn't a script for npm run serve in this case. You can see start. I'm going to have to use start. You might notice as well that I'm not using npm or run start. There are special terms in npm that can just be used by default without the run command. Start is one of those. So it's building our project, and it's going to serve our project on localhost port 4200. So here we are, our out-of-the-box Angular 6 app, which is running on port 4200. One of the benefits of our development environment here is that we've got a feature called Live Reload. So the framework is waiting until we change any of these files and it'll automatically reload the application in the browser. Let's check this out. In the source directory, I'm going to go in here and just find any random component file or .ts file. You don't have to worry about the syntax for the moment. I'm going to show you that if we make changes, the browser is going to automatically detect that. So I'm going to save this file. It automatically reloaded, and our changes can be seen straight away. I'll undo those changes, it'll compile, and the application will update. That's all for the introduction to Angular 6. We've got a long way to go, but hopefully we'll get there step by step.